Good afternoon. My name is Anthony Moreau. I am leader of the YMP Toronto and co-founder of the YMP Scholarship Fund. With me today is Maddison Konway. Maddison won the TD Securities Women in Mining Scholarship, but it should really just be called just the TD Securities Scholarship. Her credentials speak for themselves. She is extremely accomplished at a very young age. And quite frankly, I think she should be interviewing me. She's an amazing young individual. I've got to know her. And I just want to speak to her and introduce her to the world. I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot more of her. The reason why we do this scholarship, we've grown it from 12,000 to 120,000 in 3 years. We want to keep the best and brightest in our industry. And that's why we give away the scholarship. And we want to introduce the different companies like TD Securities to individuals that they might otherwise not know. So they chose her to be the winner, and I want to do a small interview. So thank you very much, Maddison. Thank you for partaking in this interview.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's such an honor to receive this scholarship and to get an opportunity to share a little bit about myself.
So Maddison, let's just jump right up there. Tell us a bit about yourself. Obviously, I know, but tell the world, where do you go to school? What are you taking?
Yeah, I'm in my fourth year of materials engineering and management at McMaster University. Traditionally, they had more of a metallurgy mining, but they've branched out into materials, which is a little bit broader, but within materials, I've chosen to specialize in sort of mining, metallurgy, as well as some of the later processing steps. So like processing and things like that of the mining materials and the ores. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm originally from British Columbia. I moved to Ontario, having lived in the same house my whole life. And it was a little bit of a big shock to come to Ontario all on my own, but I'm definitely really happy with my choice. And it's been amazing to go to McMaster and to see all the opportunities that have come out of that.
One of our challenges in the industry is attracting people like you to join mining. Usually it comes from a parent in mining, an uncle in mining, maybe being from mining town like Sudbury. How did you get into mining?
Yeah, so I don't have any family in mining. My brother originally looked at doing mining engineering and decided to go into mechanical, but I've always been interested in like the world around me and seeing like shows like how it's made, seeing where things come from. And then this like last year I had a really interesting course about high metal, like high temperature materials processing, and it was looking a lot at like the aluminum processing and looking at some of the like ore processing to produce actual usable materials. And I know that that's a really high emissions area as well. So that kind of got me interested in looking at like, how can we make some of these post-mining processes that actually take the raw materials and make them usable more sustainable? So that's something that I'm hoping to delve more into throughout my degree, as well as potentially through graduate studies. And then my partner is actually from Sudbury, so I had the opportunity to live up in Sudbury this past summer, and yeah, it really just showed me how much of the mining globally is actually located in Canada, specifically in Northern Ontario, but I want to stay in Canada ultimately, but I do want to have the flexibility to travel. So mining is a really great opportunity to pursue that. And one of my mentors is also involved in the mining industry. So she's been a really big influence. She's only a couple of years older, and seeing another young woman in mining really helped me get interested and showed me that there was a path forward in mining. So yeah, a lot of different things.
I always say mining is great. You get to travel the world, see the world, and help the world. So what are you doing right now? Tell us a bit about Hatch. You're working for Hatch as a co-op student?
Yeah, so I worked at Hatch in the summer, and I was working on their hydrometallurgy team actually. And we were looking at an electrowinning process for a foreign client. But now I'm back in school. I just finished up my last month of part-time with Hatch just so I could finish up the project I was working on and have some closure in that regard. Materials engineering and management is a 5-year program, but I've taken courses in the summer, so I've gradually accelerated it. So right now I'm doing like my final capstone because it's a full year course, and I'm hoping to graduate December 2022 so that I can potentially move to Australia and work in mining there, because my partner applied for postgraduate studies. So I'd love to have the flexibility to explore the world, but still have a career, and then especially a career that I can transfer back to Sudbury if I want to. So right now I'm just in school. I shouldn't say just, I'm taking 6 courses. I'm working part-time through the Engineering Co-op and Career Services as a co-op ambassador. But yeah, right now it's nose to the grindstone, finishing up with my education.
Well, Madison, did you know that the YMP has chapters in Melbourne and in Perth?
I did actually, and I've subscribed to all of their subscriptions and like newsletters, as well as the ones in Ontario.
Madison, I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. What company do you want to work for in Australia?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I mean, right now, the first thing that comes to my mind is probably Hatch, just because I've worked there before.
Good
So
answer.
it's my only like genuine connection. That being said, like I've looked a little bit at some of like the aluminum production facilities, as well as like some of the hydrogen production that can then be used for some of the later processing of mining materials. So I'm kind of open to anything. I haven't chosen anyone. I've always wanted to go to Australia, and I'm like, if I'm gonna go as a young adult, I kind of want a job too. So
Travel while you're young. And Rio Tinto is a huge sponsor of the YMP. I'm sure they'd be happy to have you, as well as Newcrest, BHP, Oceana. The list goes on. So reading through your resume and your accolades is kind of like going through an Edgar Allan Poe novel. I saw you won a bunch of competitions. Just tell us about some of those competitions that you won.
yeah, so one of the most notable was a CAD Designathon, and it was sponsored by a company up in Sudbury. And we were looking at mining cages and how they can often be a bottleneck for companies because you can only put certain materials in, you can't put people and supplies all the time. So for the project, we were challenged to develop a modular mining cage that could fit anything from robots to like storage cubes with supplies as well as people. So it was kind of a hackathon style, except for it was solid modeling. So my team and I took on this challenge, and like we made it so that the floors could move, so that you could have gear underneath and still keep the people safe in the upper part of it. And it was a 30-hour competition, like straight, no sleep. We did choose to sleep because it was optional how much time you wanted to dedicate to it. And we all knew we'd be better at presenting and creative thinking if we got some sleep. So I think I got about 4 or 5 hours that night, but we ended up placing second, and the company was really happy with our solution. We didn't get to develop it further after the competition, but it definitely introduced me to the world of unique challenges in mining that aren't just related to getting things in and out, but like the actual infrastructure that supports mining. And that was probably my first formal introduction to mining, even though it was in a unique like design problem setting. And that was back in January 2020. And I think that's kind of what started the ball rolling in terms of my interest in mining.
Okay, so you won $5,000. What are you going to do with that money?
So I'm hoping to put it towards my education, first of all, because engineering is really expensive. But in addition to that, I definitely want to save some of it as so that I can potentially go to Australia and pursue a little bit of a career in that area. So that would include like if I'm moving there, air flight, as well as like all the visa application process. Or alternatively, I may put it towards grad studies, either in mining, or I've also looked at law, which I know is a pretty diverse field. But yeah, I've got a lot of options. So either travel, well, my current education, travel, and then grad school, depending on what route I choose to pursue.
Well, Madison, I hate to burst your bubble, but I think any company would be happy to have you, and they will fly you to Australia just to work with you. So I don't think you'll have any moving
Okay.
costs or visa costs or travel costs. So I think the important thing about working is having a good work-life balance. What do you like to do in your spare time?
I love listening to music. I've recently taken up ballroom dancing, which I've always wanted to do, but didn't have a partner for, and now I do. My family lives in Hamilton as well, so I spend time with them. And I also love personal fitness. Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I spend a lot of time outside because I'm definitely an outdoorsy kind of person, having grown up on Vancouver Island. But outside of that, like I don't have a ton of spare time just with school, but
One of our challenges, as I said, is attracting people like you into the mining industry. What can the industry do better to attract more Maddison Konways?
yeah, I definitely think like, yes, offering scholarships is fantastic. But I think for me, what really attracted me was seeing like-minded people. So again, I'll iterate like my mentor, who I actually met through YMP, she showed me that there are opportunities in the field and it isn't just going into the ground and being a miner. Like there's opportunities for innovation and for forward thinking. And I think that's a really important thing for attracting top young talent these days is being cutting edge. Like there's a reason everybody loves consumer electronics. They like the space industry. It's because they're going forward and people see that. Whereas in some people's minds, mining may not have the same cutting edge attraction. So I think highlighting new innovations in mining is a good way to show people that that mining is moving forward. The industry is expanding. They are evolving. They're adopting new technologies. So really showing that there's room for creativity, design, innovation, and then connecting people to communities within mining so that they see that there are people who are willing to invest in the next generation of engineers and geologists and scientists that are going to go into the industry.
Well, one of my mentors, Steve Stewart, we always joke it's there's a lot of lobbyists for mining, but they more lobby towards the government. What I think they need is kind of a PR program to lobby to the public, to lobby to UI and out there, because we do need mining. You pick up your cell phone, you got to mine it to have it. Everyone wants an Apple phone. You need mining. So I think they really need to show why they are the best industry. I think they're better than tech. Again, you get to travel the world, you get to help the world. You're always solving problems. So you're always thinking, you're never bored. I think it's a great industry. So I'm hoping someday they can hire a PR agency just to sell to the general population like us. So anyways, that's great, Maddison. Thank you very much for the interview. I don't know if you want to say anything before we leave.
I just wanted to say thank you once again to YMP and to TD Capital Investment Markets, because it means so much to have this opportunity, not only to have the financial support, but also to have the connections, the recognition, and yes, money is money, but the connections are absolutely everything. So thank you so much. And it's such an honor and a pleasure.
Well, I'm sure if you reach out to TD, Matt Krempwich, myself, Stephen Stewart, the chairman of YMP, we'll help you open up any door you want. But just reading through your resume, I'm sure you can open up those doors yourself. So there we have it. This is Maddison Konway. She won the TD Securities Women in Mining Scholarship for 2021. Take a good picture of her. She'll be a CEO, I guess, in under 20 years. So thank you very much, Maddison. Congratulations. It is such a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you so much.